everybody, today I'm going to be sharing with you my very large TBR. I'm setting my goal very high this month because I want to read a lot of books, so if I set a goal for a lot of books, hopefully I'll make it through at least half of this pile, or a little bit more than that at the end of this month. Who knows? I guess we'll see in my wrap up. Recently, I've been feeling so inspired to read all the books of all these genres, and I feel like setting this large goal will help me satisfy that craving. So without further ado, let's jump into this TBR because it is massive. This first book I've been looking forward to reading for so long now, and I am super pumped that it's in my hands right now. And that is Ship It by Britta London. So fun fact, I followed Britta on Twitter a few months ago because she is one of the writers for Riverdale, which is the show I watch pretty much every single week. It's probably the only show that I keep up to date with, so that's saying a lot. I like me some Riverdale. And then when I found out that she wrote a young adult book called Ship It, I was so on board. And I would just like to thank Disney Book Group for sponsoring this book in the video. So this book is about Claire, and she is a fanfiction writer for this TV show called Demon Heart. And one day she goes to a Comic-Con where she meets the lead actor of Demon Heart, Forrest. And at this Q&A, she gets to ask him a question. So she asks, hey, is your character gay? Because her whole entire fanfiction revolves around his character and his male co-lead. But when he laughs off Claire's assumptions about his character, it creates a media firestorm within the LGBTQ+ community. And so it is a PR nightmare. So the PR team, a part of the TV show, enlists Claire's help to help repair his image. All the while, Claire and Forrest spawn a wonderful friendship that leads Forrest to question his assumptions on sexuality and help Claire break out of her shell. And there's also this wonderful romance between Claire and a fan artist named Tess. So I'm really excited to read this book. It sounds like such a fan-filled, awesome novel, and I cannot wait to read this, especially before convention season. I think it'll get me in the mood. So next we have a book that I came across by chance because I saw that there was a poll on Instagram that says, which book should I read? This book or this book? And I was like, My Oxford Year, I wonder what that's about. It may take place in the UK, and I love the UK. So I went on Amazon, I checked it out, and I fell in love with the premise. It's about this girl named Ella, and she is American, and she is going to Oxford University on a scholarship. It's her dream come true, but when she runs into the smart mouth local, things get off to a little rocky start. But she puts it behind her up until she finds out that the smart mouth local is her English literature professor at Oxford. Bum bum bum! Cue angst, cue romance, cue craziness. I'm so pumped to read this book. And while we're in the mood of talking about romance books that take place in the UK, and this one in particular taking place in Scotland, let me mention Royals by Rachel Hawkins. I'm super pumped about this book. I just started reading it, and it is about this girl whose sister is marrying the Prince of Scotland. And so there's this huge royal wedding shebang happening, and she gets pulled into the media because her sister's marrying the prince, and she's kind of like the Pippa of the Kate and William. She never asked for this, she never wanted this, she just wanted to be chill, you know, live out her young adult life in peace, go to a convention with her friend, but instead she is thrust into the spotlight and into a scandal. And it's really fun because one of the books that I'm writing now actually takes place in Scotland as well. Of course, they're very different storylines, but I always love me a good Scottish novel to satisfy my cravings of some more Scottish literature until I can finish my own book, and then I could just read that over and over and over again. Honestly, I'm just writing Project Red for me and for you guys, but I just want a book like Project Red out there in the world, so I'm gonna write it because I haven't found it yet. So yes, Royals. I shall be reading this month as well. I think I'll read it like really fast though because it seems like a quick, fun read. The next book is a book I've been meaning to read for the past like year and a half, but I just haven't gotten around to it. But recently this author came out with a new novel called Circe, and I've been hearing wonderful things about it, so I want to read her first book before jumping into her newest novel. And the book that I plan on reading this month is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So this book follows the story of Achilles and Patroclus. I can never pronounce his name, so we're gonna call him Pat. And Pat is an awkward young prince who is exiled from his homeland after a shocking act of violence. And Pat and Achilles are brought together by chance, and they form an inseparable bond, despite risking the gods' wrath. And little do they know, they're about to be sent on a crazy, epic journey that the cruel fates have bestowed upon them. I'm really excited to read this book because everybody always talks about it, and I've been meaning to read it for a while now, so we're gonna go give it a shot. The next book I got about 8 months ago, and I still have not read it, but it sounds phenomenal. This book takes place in Victorian-era London. Oh, and it's called A Curious Beginning. I guess like mentioning the title would help before going into the description of a novel. So it revolves around Veronica, and after burying her aunt, she goes and sets off for a whirlwind adventure. But fate has other plans for her, and she ends up just barely getting abducted and then sent on a crazy, mystery-filled journey with Stoker, a reclusive and bad-mouthed historian. I've heard amazing things about this novel, and I cannot wait to jump on into all the historical, mysterious, Victorian-era goodness. Next is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. I've been meaning to read this book for a while now. It's about a Vermont boarding school, a crazy mystery, and about a girl who is going to be solving this crazy cold case. I've been meaning to read this for a while now. I pre-ordered it. I was really excited to read it, and then life got ahead of me, and I still have not read it yet. So I hopefully will get to this one this month because I am super pumped about it. The next book I do not actually have in my hands as of right now, but it is out currently, and it is a Utopia book club book for the month of May, and it is The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. We're working with Disney Book Group to bring you guys this book for our book club, and I'm so excited to finally jump back into the world of Apollo and all his crazy goodness. As I said before in my other videos that I mentioned, The Trials of Apollo, but let me tell you guys, I think this is my favorite Rick Riordan series to date. As much as I love Percy Jackson, Apollo is my man, he's my dude, so come and join us guys in reading the third book in this series. It'll be a wild ride. And lastly, I am currently listening to this audiobook, but technically I'm gonna be reading it this month, even though I'm listening to it on audiobook. And if you haven't seen my audiobook video, definitely go check that out. It is up now. I'll be linking it down below if you want to go check it out. I mentioned my favorite audiobooks. But anywho, I mentioned this book in the video, and that is Children of Blood and Bone. And I am so freaking excited to finally get into this world more than I already am, because I'm not too far into the audiobook, but I'm far enough to already be obsessed and finally understand why everybody is obsessed with this novel. Although I can already tell why. But I'm excited to finally understand it from a deeper level. If you like West African mythology, Black Panther meets Avatar The Last Airbender, pick up this book and read it, because that's what it's all about. So I have a pretty daunting TBR as we see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 novels. Let's see how many I get through. I'll be doing lots of videos like 24-hour readathons, reading vlogs, and all that fun stuff this next month, and going into June. Oh my gosh, June's coming up in a month? What even? I do have a lot to do this month. I'm going to Iceland in 2 weeks, and then I have a deadline for ZENITH 2 on June 1st. But, you know, I'm not doing all that stuff 24/7. I'll have time to read books. Maybe 7 books. Who knows? I guess you guys will have to check in at the end of the month for my wrap-up to see how many books I read. I'd love to know what books you plan on reading this month down below, so let me know. Also, don't forget to press that notifications button to go and get notified whenever I post a new video. Y'all know that YouTube's being a poop about notifying people when people post. So, go press that bell so you know when I'm in your sub feed. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My username is @SashaAlsberg. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!